¿Ya?
Sorry.
Vaya mierda, ¿no?
All right.
Okay.
Am I here?
Yeah. Please.
You,
be my
nice
guest.
of you to wear a tie.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's very fancy. That's a. Is that a Maya Pixel?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. She's all over.
Later, when we finish, if you have time, I would like to sing you.
Sign a tie?
Yeah, please.
I don't want to deface it. Do you have a silver?
No.
Do you have a silver pen?
No, yeah, it would
White?
be great to have
Okay.
your signature there.
Maybe on the other side.
No, I prefer
No?
here. Yeah.
I like it because if you wear a suit jacket, it looks like just a black tie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a fancy
but then,
tie.
bam, it's
But
the
no.
review.
But no. But I'm fun. So fun and serious.
yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of both. So
Are we starting now?
yeah,
Okay.
so I was telling you before that we are doing a documentary.
No, don't do that. You should have asked my advice before.
What?
That's crazy.
That's my first question. Is how was your experience doing the Kickstarter campaign, the documentary, and launching the game?
Oh, that was great. But it was kind of our mission. It was like a mission for me because when I was a kid, I played a lot of video games. And I remember I didn't know, how did they get made? And I wrote a letter to a magazine that was all about video games. I was like, do you know how I can get a job in the games industry? And they never wrote me back. And I just kind of gave up on it. And I thought I would get a job, programming databases or something. And then I luckily found out that I could work and could make video games for a living. And so I wanted to make something to show, hey, look, you could do this. We're not very smart. Right? If a bunch of dummies like us can make a game. I mean, they're not. The team is really smart. But you know what I mean? It's just regular people. People just like you make games. And, it's not like this magical or highly scientific process that only certain people can do. It's they're being made, just by people like you. So, but I want to show both, so in that way, how easy games are to make, how possible, but also how hard they are to make. Because I think a lot of people don't, they play games and they might get mad that a certain feature wasn't included. They don't really realize how expensive that is, how much thought goes into that, how much time. They're like, why didn't they add multiplayer? It's well, because I just wanted to show how much the team cares about what they're doing and how much of their selves they pour into the games. And I think that is clear if you watch our documentary, probably your documentary, to see that these games that people play, somebody it was their life, and many people put their whole lives into making that thing happen.
And do you think the exposure with the documentary, it was bad or good for the game? Mostly bad, mostly good?
It definitely had an effect on it. There was a point in the game where we were like, okay, this game that I now designed is really big, and it's going to use all of our crowdfunded money. And if we want it to be the game that I designed, I'm going to need to put a bunch of our own money into it too. And the cameras were on us when we were making that decision. I was kind of like if there was no cameras on it, no one would have known that I could have cut the game in half. And because this has come up before, Brutal Legend was designed to be twice as big as the game that actually shipped, but no one knew that. So I could be like, okay, let's just cut it down to be otherwise it'd been $50 million that game.
Yeah.
But and I'm glad I made that choice for Broken Age because I think it needed to be that size. But we'll never know what decision I would have made if no one was watching. You know what I mean? Because people don't know what's cut from the game.
Yeah.
But when you show a documentary and people see all the stuff that's cut, they're like, hey, I want that part that you cut out. Give me that. So that is a risk for sure. But I think you should only do it if making a documentary is important and part of the thing that you're trying to make.
Well, in our case, the difference is that we are spending the money in the documentary and we start the development process of the video game with zero budget. So at some point we are showing how we can get the money. And this is an important process of the whole development.
How are you getting the money?
That's a good question because
are you crowdfunding or are you going to investors or a publisher?
That's going to be the question.
Yeah, exactly. We think that maybe because of the exposure we have right now, crowdfunding could be a good option. And I think that you are doing a new platform for crowdfunding video games,
Fig.
something like that.
Yeah.
So please tell us about it.
Oh, Fig is, I'm involved with that. I'm on the advisory board of Fig, which is a new crowdfunding platform just for games, but allows you to invest in the games. Because that was something that I came up, I asked when we crowdfunded our first game, what if the game's a huge, huge hit and I make a lot of money? I'm going to feel weird because someone else gave me the money to make the game, but they don't get to get any royalties from it. Is there a way you can share the royalties with the people? And they said, no, that's actually illegal in the United States. It's illegal because that becomes investment, which is protected. People are basically protected from investing in a way.
Okay.
So because of the Great Depression, when people lost their houses because they invested in bad things, and so it was illegal. I forgot about it, and then when basically the new laws have emerged to make it possible for regular people to invest in things. It's called the Jobs Act in America, and it allows things like FIG to happen, where you can back the game like normal for rewards like T-shirts and posters and stuff.
Okay.
But you can also invest more money to participate in the royalties of it. So if we make a game that's a huge, huge hit, everybody can participate in that, and I think that feels a lot better.
Okay. And what do we need to put a project in that platform?
To be on FIG, you just have to go to fig.co and submit a project.
But do you recommend to have a gameplay video or a demo, or start with when you have the alpha version or beta version? Or?
I mean, I feel like the thing I always feel is most important with crowdfunding is that you are telling a good story. Not a story of your game, but the story of the process. Like for ours, it was like, this old geezer wants to make old games like he used to make, but he can't anymore, but you can help him make it. Like that's an interesting story because people can see why they're a vital part to the process. Like, oh, he can't make that game without me. I can help, so that's inspiring, And I feel like, but there's also games like Hyper Light Drifter. You've seen that?
Yeah.
Where they just had a kick-ass video, right? Why did you back it? The video was awesome, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know those guys. I didn't know them at the time. I have no idea who they are. Like, and so that's two totally different reasons for backing a project. And I feel as long as you have a compelling pitch, it can be anything. There's no one rule for showing gameplay. In fact, I think there's sometimes a lot of risk of showing a gameplay, because what if your gameplay is really rough and people get... That's one thing about making a documentary or doing crowdfunding is that people aren't used to seeing how terrible games look until... Like, a lot of games are terrible until like a month before they ship. They're not fun.
Yeah.
They're often really ugly for a long time because you don't want to put too much work into the art until you figure out what's fun about the game. So when people see your first game for the first 6 months of it, they're like, oh, like, especially your publisher who gave you all the money, they're like, oh, this game is looking terrible. And that's the way games look. And so unless you have a piece of gameplay that just looks amazing, because if you pitch something, people will imagine it. It's perfect in their imagination. So you don't want to put anything forward that will like really hurt their as long as it's better than what they're imagining, you should share it. But if it's not better than what they're imagining, then you should talk about what your plans are. Like this is how I'm going to prove that I'm capable of it. Like I've made these games before. Here's my plan. Doesn't that sound like a great idea? I'm the perfect person to make it, but I can't do it without you.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
It's been almost 20 years since Day of the Tentacle. What do you think still works? Yeah, sorry to say that, but it's the truth.
I'm old.
But what do you think is still fresh? What do you think that we can still take from that game, gameplay-wise, even art-wise or style-wise, that can work today?
I feel in some ways it's more just the humor of it, because there's still not a lot of games that are doing humor, especially just lighthearted, really silly, just fun. Everything's so dark and gritty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if you play that game, the one thing we had learned from working on the Monkey Island games with Ron is that we had learned not to be afraid of being silly, like not to censor yourself like, it's too ridiculous. I wrote that line about look behind you, there's a three-headed monkey.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just Ron's not really going to let me use that line. That's too ridiculous and stupid. This is a pirate story, right? And then Ron came up and he's like, no, we're going to use that line. In fact, we should get Steve Purcell to draw the monkey. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? And it was a process of me learning not to be afraid of these ridiculous ideas. And so I think that's still true. So when we made Day of the Tentacle, we're like, horse with the teeth that come out and the hamster and a mummy on all those things are like, yes, don't be afraid of the ridiculous.
For us, so far, is the main inspiration for our game. So
Day of the Tentacle is?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Tell me about your game. Is it like that?
Well, it's
What's your elevator pitch for this game? Let me hear it.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's a story of two
brothers.
Two brothers who lost the baseball of his father, signed by Babe Ruth.
Oh, like a Sandlot. Okay.
They have like a timeline to get it back, and the ball is owned now by this old cranky neighbor, like legendary, mysterious guy like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, you know? And they have to go there, but they are 10 years old, they don't know the neighborhood, so it's kind of an adventure, and we see the neighborhood through their eyes, through a kid's eyes, and it's like an adventure, and the time is always the important thing, because the time is running out.
Oh, is it a point and click adventure? Or is it a real?
Kind of both. Kind of have some arcade sections, and then there are these point and click inside the house.
Big scary dog.
Yeah, that's.
Probably.
I think we're gonna have to do that. But inside every house of the neighbor, there's some story that you have to figure it out in order to save time.
I think it's great. I think it has a lot of potential for telling a lot of different little stories.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the point.
It's a little bit like a custom quest. You have the two brothers and they go through the street, so it's another reference for us. So
Yeah, if you can remind people of
fans.
what it felt like to be a little kid. Yeah, and I don't even know if kids can do this these days anymore, but I remember spending a lot of time on my own, wandering, and like, I don't know if I let my daughter do that now, but like we just like a pack of kids just wander through like people's backyards, like fields and stuff like that.
So we like to take a story and trying to be fun while doing it. So that's the point.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think we don't have more time, so thank you very much
we're getting
for
the-
everything. Yeah.
Stop talking, you're boring.
If you could sign the.
Oh, this beautiful tie.
Yeah, please,
Oh
please.
yeah, Maya.
If you want to.
Is this black? What color is this? Is this white?
It's white. It's white.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta save room for Ron and Dave. Just make sure we look nice. You're gonna wear these to your wedding someday.
No, I don't think so.
You should wear it to your wedding. That would be amazing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. It was a real pleasure.
Okay, good luck with your game.
Yeah, thank
What's
you.
it called?
We don't have a name yet.
Yeah, names are hard.
Yeah,
I have pages and pages of name ideas for my games.
we don't care about that. I don't think it's the important thing.
We'll see eventually.
Games, the titles are everything.
Okay.
Wow.
Now we're worried. Now we're worried.